So now that you got a first overview of these folders and files that were created as part of this new Flutter project, I want to take a closer look at this main.dart file, or to be precise, what happens to that file when you run your Flutter app on an emulator or on any device. As you can see, this main.dart file contains some code, which most likely looks quite cryptic to you at this point, since we haven't learned about this code yet. But of course, we will learn about writing this code and what this code does throughout this course section. But you can, of course, see that there is some code in that file. And I can tell you that this code, like this, would not be understood by Android or iOS devices. So what's not happening when you're running your Flutter app is that this code is simply copied onto the device and executed there. That's not what's happening. Instead, what is happening is that Dart, in the end, goes through this code file top to bottom and reads that code file from top to bottom. It parses this code file, as it's also called. So your code in your code files is parsed by Dart in the end when you're building your project for running it on a target platform. That's the first step. Your code is parsed and analyzed by Dart, because keep in mind, Dart is the actual programming language. Now, after your code has been parsed, it must be translated to a language that is understood by the target platforms, because as I just mentioned, this code can't be executed like this on Android or iOS or other target platforms. Therefore, as a next step, after parsing the code is compiled by various Dart and Flutter tools, which simply means it's translated into some other code, some native iOS or Android machine code, so some code that is understood by iOS or Android or whichever target platform you are targeting. So the code you write with Dart and Flutter is translated into some other code, and that code is then in the end packaged up, bundled together into a highly optimized code bundle, and that code bundle is then executed on the devices you are shipping your project to. So on the mobile devices you are deploying your app to, for example. That is what happens to this Dart code. So you work with Dart and Flutter, but on the device something else is executed. And for that, the code which you write is parsed, so is read and analyzed from top to bottom before it's then compiled, and in the end it's then this compiled code that is executed on those target devices.